Good day, everyone. So, the topic that was assigned to me in environmental ethics is all about vegetarianism and treading lightly on the earth, which is being proposed by Michael Allen Fox. So, let me just first give you the outline of the presentation, the introduction about Michael Allen Fox, and then these are the following concepts that we're going to encounter. So, vegetarianism, according to the environmental philosophers, it is also equal to the ethical thinking. So, before this presentation ends, let us know about this concept at the end of the conclusion. So, these are the topics: moving away from meat, environmental impact on dietary choice as a threat to biodiversity, meat production and domination of nature, and finally, the conclusion. So, this topic is knowingly very relevant nowadays because there are many instances of meat production that not just the Filipinos but around the world are really into meat eating, especially samgyeopsal, the famous or popular Korean food, no, which goes in the Philippines. No, the unlimited samgyup, which involves the pork, beef, chicken, and other cattle grazing animals that being raised, no, for meat production. So first is the introduction for the proponent of vegetarianism. So Michael Allen Fox is a well-known environmental philosopher, which being famous, no, in America, in Canada, and in Australia. So he's being a professor from various universities. So marami na siyang napuntahan na university at nakapagturo siya doon. And his main arguments and points in environmental ethics is all about this, no, particularly animal agriculture and the manipulative or dominating mindset of humans as we are transitioning from meat production to a vegetarianism or the being a vegetarian. So, according kay Pax, no, una sa lahat, that the problem within the environmental destruction is somehow related to humans as well as their preference or their taste preferences when it comes to food production. So most of them, we, di ba, humans are choosing meats for our daily eating habits and neglect to have a balanced diet according to Michael Allen Fox. So the first thing is moving away from meat. So sabi ni Fox, meron siyang basic assumption that there is a scientific evidence wherein it reveals that having a nutritional standpoint or the balanced diet, which humans are moving away from meat, can produce a healthier life, which is somehow may point naman siya, di ba? So, being a healthy person, moving away from porks, from sickness, which is related to eating of meat daily and, you know, over exceeding or exceeding the consumption of eating the meat. So also, according to facts, that the consumption of meat can affect human nature, especially their attitude. As what I've said earlier, that it is somehow related to their attitude over taste preferences in the demand or the satisfaction of their needs, particularly in food. And also, facts reveal that this meat production may abuse natural resources such as the forest, land, water, and energy. So may effect yun, yung pag-consume ng mga tao ng meat. And it is obviously um, seen na humans or individuals are very dependent to meat as we are all omnivorous, no? So herbivores and omnivores and then carnivores. So uh, vegetables, fruits, meats, porks, etc. are being eaten by humans. But it is also in contrast na nagkakaroon ng overexploitation of nature to satisfy food preferences. So nagkakaroon ng exploitation doon sa paggamit ng mga natural resources, nagkakaroon ng exceeding, especially the meat. And then, it simply shows the effect of human greediness. Diba? The greediness na we are not contented with the food that we eat. So, all of it are mostly in a overconsumption. No? And it is nearly to say na nagkakaroon ng self-centered desires when it comes to food. And this concept of vegetarianism is also raising us for this presentation, no, awareness. No, magkaroon tayo ng dietary orientation upon healthy and change our habits of food preferences. Most importantly, it will benefit the nature. So, in order to avoid the environmental destruction, no, mamaya i-discuss pa natin thoroughly yung ibang concepts when it comes to vegetarianism. So, that's for the introduction, moving away from meat. The next one is this consumption of meat overproduction or the meat production has an environmental impact. Obviously, di ba, when it comes to cattle grazing o yung pag-aalaga ng mga hayop, baka, baboy, whatever na eating meat, sheep, etc., is obviously alarming to the environment. Nagkakaroon ng pollution, no? Their manures, yung kanilang mga the feeds that they eat, animal feeds, obviously somehow nagkakaroon ng mismanagement yung mga nagka-cattle grazing or yung mga agribusiness, agricultural business. So nagkakaroon ng negative effects. So this meat industry operation is causing pollution, environmental destruction, because of the demand of the overpopulation. That's why pag mayroong overpopulation, meron ding overconsumption na sinasabi. So, ganun yung nagiging effect sa environment, nasisira siya. So, as we can see here, that there are 322 million liters of manure daily average, no? Particularly to those first world countries such as the western industrialized countries like United States and Canada. You know na napakalawak ng mga bansa na yon. That's why they have also a great population and humans there are really loving to eat meat, and then malaki yung kanilang agricultural lands to propagate this cattle grazing. So, ganun yung nangyayari sa kanila. And the impact is causing contamination of waterways and soil, air pollution, etc., because of the impact of this animal manures daily, no, sa mga westernized countries. And then, Michael Allen Fox also give this concept, grass-feeding livestock system, which it states that grass can be an alternative instead of grains. So, syempre, yung mga pinapakain na grains, no? Instead of for them to eat grains, so rice, etc., palay, etc., in the Philippines, for example, pwedeng gamitin yon as an alternative, no? Less consumption, no? Ibig sabihin nun, if the cattles or the those cows, those pigs are eating grains, it can also be an alternative for the humans to eat for more. Ibig sabihin nun, sabi nga dito, this amount of grain is sufficient to feed a human population. So instead of giving them to the cattle, why not let the humans feed with this grains, di ba? So ang alternative sa kanila ay mga grass. So that's the grass feeding livestock system. And according to Animal Alliance of Canada 1991, all the grain fed to livestock could feed 5 times as many people. So makikita natin yung purpose kung bakit nagkakaroon ng grass feeding livestock system. It's an alternative to lessen the consumption but still give it to the human needs, 'di ba? So yung grains instead na pakain mo sa hayop, ibigay mo sa tao, no? And then meat production as a threat to biodiversity, obviously, as what I've explained earlier, na this has an impact. So, obviously, the rainforest extinctions, because of the human desires and overconsumption, the solid human-centered reasons can be reflected to these depletions of biodiversity. Obviously, nakakaroon ng patterns and connections, di ba? Sabi nga ni Fox, we cannot save the forest just by saying no to fast food, the hamburgers or anything, no? But we can help turn things around of enough of us set as an example by reducing the meat in our diets, and if in this way we set an example to others. So most importantly to the nature. So makikita natin doon na this meat production can be a burden to the biodiversity as the animals, no, can also destroy the nature. So obviously malaki yung effect. It's like a double effect to the biodiversity. The humans and the animals consumption, and the destruction that they are making to destroy the environment. And lastly, as what I've said already kanina, no, na this concept by Michael Allen Fox, the vegetarian food system, when humans are eating veggies or vegetables as well as the animals, no, so it will also reflect as a greater responsibility, no, na just not to separate us from the nature, but mas mapalapit pa tayo sa nature, obviously. So, syempre, para ma-lessen nga din yung mga environmental issues or pollution na nasa environment. And also, makikita natin, this meat production, according to facts, is like a exploitation of animals. Obviously, kaya nga sila pinapalaki because may purpose sila to be a food that humans will eat. Kaya nga may factory farms. So, it is like animals are being the machines or artifacts for production and reproduction that we humans are going to consume. And greed is the driving force to the meat industry. If humans can be contented with the food that we eat, the vegetables, according to facts, there will be no problem at all. So, vegetarian food system and the exploitation of cattle. And for the conclusion, so this concept by Michael Allen Fox says that the vegetarian way of life offers us as a chance to reestablish contact with the land, eat locally grown foods, and recover connections with nature. And also, it is like a liberation to humans, which states that it can also free us from the exploitation of animals and at the same time take care of the environment, no, positively, to be a healthy, having a balanced diet, and obviously being healthy for both humans and planet. That is our home. So that's the concept of vegetarianism according to Michael Allen Fox. Thank you for